Good morning, Facebook. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, world. Y'all see I'm on a little bit later than this morning. I'm telling you, this week was my last week of class before I start my another set in a couple of weeks. So it's been a lot. I know that I haven't been on this week as much, but just really trying to close some things out with my last class. But praise God, I'm able to get on before I'm finna head out for work. I just had a thought on my reading this morning as we prepare for our morning medicine. Today's prescription comes from Proverbs chapter 18, verse 13. And it says, the one who gives an answer before he listens, this is foolishness and disgrace for him. The one who gives an answer before he listens, this is foolishness and disgrace for him. Let me just iterate the significance of listening. Sometimes it's an underestimated tool. It's actually an underestimated prayer answer. What do I mean by that? I'm telling you some right now that are listening, and your spouse, if you would just listen before you answer, it would save a lot more on the back end with your marriage. It could be the very answer that you have been waiting for in order to improve or enhance or bring health to your marriage simply by you just listening. I'm going to say that because I was thinking about that this morning, about the significance of listening. And often, we are quicker to response and slower to listen. Yet God tells us to be quicker to listen and slower to speak from the book of James. And I'm saying this because oftentimes we underestimate the value of listening. And when we don't listen, it always costs us in the end. Listening saves us time. Because oftentimes we find ourselves in trouble and consequences. And when you look at the bottom line of why that happened, if you peel back the layers, it's because we didn't listen. Some things that we find ourselves getting into, we wouldn't have gotten into it if we would have just listened. If we would have just take heed to what was being said instead of being quicker to respond. And let me tell you what about listening. Because this is a problem, not only with us, but God showed it when he walked the earth with the disciples. If you go back to many times in the scriptures, in the gospels, Jesus said in Mark chapter 4, when he started giving them parables, what was the emphasis of the parable? He said, is those that have ears to hear, let them hear. In other words, are you truly listening to what I'm saying? Because when you truly listen to what I'm saying, man, you're going to get it. But oftentimes, we're not truly listening. When Jesus told them that the one who dips their bread is the one who's going to betray me, the next question the disciples asked was, who is it, me? He just told you because Judas just did it, but because they weren't listening, it went past their head. Oftentimes when Jesus told them things, he had to repeat and said, I've been with y'all this long and you still don't know this? Because the question was, were they truly listening? And they found themselves in situations. They found themselves in predicaments. And some of it rooted from the lack of listening. And it cost. It cost Judas. Because Jesus told them, beware of the one who betrays me, yet he still went off to betray. Jesus told them the lust of money, that you can't serve two masters, but yet he went to serve another master. Cost him. because he truly wasn't listening to what Jesus was saying. And I'm saying for this morning medicine, are you truly listening? And I'm telling you, so many things we find ourselves into, predicaments, consequences, is because of our failure to truly listen. We sometimes want to get a point out so bad that we fail to actually hear what's being said. How often do you have to find yourself asking, hey, can you repeat that? Because you weren't paying attention. If we are people of God, and he that is in us is greater than he that is in the world, that means if he is in us, that means the capability of that love is in us. And it's rude to be doing something while somebody is talking to us. Let me clarify what I'm saying. If somebody's trying to talk to us, how about we give them our full attention? How often do you find yourself on the cell phone? Where's my cell phone at? Oh, man. On the phone. Somebody trying to tell you something, and then they ask you, are you listening? You're like, yeah, I can listen. I'm doing this too. I can do two things at once. The problem is you can't give both of them 100. One's going to get more attention than the other. Yet, if a person is talking to us, we probably need to give that our 100. It's rude for us to be on our phone. Not only rude to them, but it's rude to God. Because they're talking to us and we're not valuing that conversation as we should be. To the degree that we should be. Because we oftentimes find ourselves, because we catch one word, and then we'll look up from the phone and say, oh yeah, what you say? And that person has to repeat it. And sometimes that person gets frustrated. Why? Because we're showing a sign that whatever we're doing on the phone or whatever we're doing on the computer or whatever task is at hand is more important. I'm just saying for this morning medicine, it'll cost us time. I work in a place, I'm telling you, that many people give a lot of answers, but they're not listening. Because I'll find myself having to repeat it several times. And sometimes we got to go through things and then people are ready to listen. But all of that could be prevented if we just listen the first time. And I'm saying, I'm speaking because I found myself doing that. People come in my office and I try to do it on the computer instead of actually listening to them. Man, they came to my office. So if they came to my office, that must mean what they're saying is important. I have to treat it that way. And so how about I say, hold up, before you start talking, let me finish this email so I can give you my undivided attention. What did that just show? That I care, the love of Christ I'm giving to them. But also it allows me to pay attention and truly grab hold of what they're actually saying. I'm saying it'll cost us on the back end. Because oftentimes I find myself when I'm doing something else and they speak, something to happen, and I go back to that person. They say, no, I told you that. And I'm like, man, you know what? I missed that part. And you know why I missed it? Because I wasn't truly all the way listening. I don't want to hear that talking about, man, I can do two. No. They deserve our undivided. And I'm even telling you, when you're on the phone with somebody, how oftentimes you find yourself on the phone, but you're really not listening because you're doing something else. I don't know how many times I've been on the phone doing my homework and trying to talk on the phone. Oh, my goodness. And then we try to get mad when that other person asks, are you listening to me? Man, why you keep... Nah, because the reality is showing that you're truly not listening because you're tuned in. I'm saying, how about we finish and give that person the proper respect? Because listening saves time, because all I'm going to keep doing is asking them to repeat. And then I do something opposite of what they told me or an issue that they came at me with, and I missed it because I truly wasn't listening. And what it's going to do is going to cost that relationship. And I'm just saying, for our morning medicine, we got to do better with that. Are you truly listening? Listening saves us so much time if we just give the time to that person while they're speaking and we just listen. This is your morning medicine. I'm just saying, listen. Rather be your kids, listen. And if you can't at that time, maybe asking them, hey, can I call you back when I have the time to actually truly, because what you're saying is important, and I want to give it my undivided. Or when they come in, maybe say, hey, right now, can I come back to you in 10 minutes? But make sure you go back to 10 minutes. Make sure you go back in the time that you slotted for them. But give them your undivided. And if you can't, let that be known. Because you don't want them to continue on, especially when it's something that's vital. Because I'm telling you, some things that we may think is not vital, it doesn't mean it's not vital to them. Let's get out of these pre-notions, all these things before somebody even speaks, and we label that as not important. No, if they're coming to us, we got to treat it as it is important. Listen. It will always save us time. This is your morning medicine. Today, we're going to be tested. And the question is, will you pass the test of listening? God bless you.